Hey guys, it's Prince Rich with Rich Technology Group, and this video is our Zoom Phone VoIP phone system review for 2021. We got a lot to go over in this video, so if you're watching this and you've been contemplating Zoom Phone for your voice over IP phone system or business communication needs for your company, I would recommend that you maybe grab a pen and pad, take notes, or if you don't want to take notes, sit back and relax. But we got a lot to go over in this video. But before we hop into who Zoom Phone is, some of the features, what they do, and the pros and cons, a quick disclaimer I want to throw out there for you guys. We get a lot of phone calls and a lot of emails for people that are looking for Zoom Phone on a regular basis. And while we do represent Zoom Phone and we know a lot about it, can get you special pricing and can also coordinate demos for you, we cannot get credit for any Zoom Phone opportunities or quotes that are less than 5 users or extensions. So if you're watching this and you've got only, one user need, 1 extension, 2 extensions, as much as we'd love to help you and we don't have that limitation with other service providers, unfortunately, this is a limitation that we have only with Zoom at the time of this video, and we won't be able to help you. You have to go direct. If you're watching this and you've got 5 or more extensions and you'd like our help, like to get access to our special pricing, quotes, demos, have us connect you up with one of our contacts at Zoom, I'm more than happy to do that all day long. So anyways, let's jump right into this Zoom Phone review for 2021. Starting at the top, Zoom Phone was Zoom, the corporation or the video conferencing company as we know it was founded in 2011. But Zoom Phone, the actual voice over IP platform, is actually younger. It's actually, at the time of this video, less than 2 years old. I think it's actually coming up on its 2nd birthday here pretty soon. Zoom is actually headquartered out of San Jose, California, and their estimated revenue for 2020 was approximated at $2.6 billion, which was reported at a staggering 326% revenue increase over the previous year. So for those of you watching, you probably know, in the previous year with the pandemic and all that kind of stuff, Zoom stock just went through the roof. So the good news is even though Zoom Phone at the time of this video is a very young platform, they got plenty of funding to hopefully improve upon it and build a pretty killer platform as time progresses. What makes Zoom unique at the time of this video is obviously their video meetings platform. None of you that are watching, me, you, anybody around, worldwide, even kids these days, nobody is a stranger to Zoom's virtual meetings or video conferencing platform, Zoom Meetings. The thing that makes their phone system unique is while every other service provider out there actually does offer a video meetings platform, Zoom tends to offer what could be hailed as one of the best ones out there. And as you can imagine, it integrates seamlessly with their Zoom Phone system if you get the right package. So let's see here. Pricing at Zoom starts at about $8 per month per user to as high as $30 per month per user or extension. Now keep in mind, this is for their UCaaS platform. This is not pricing for like their CCaaS or for their contact center platform or what we would call voice over IP for call centers or enterprise level stuff. That's a whole nother thing, which we'll end up probably doing a video with a Zoom engineer on that in a future video. Let's see here. One other thing that's very interesting about Zoom is, unlike most voice over IP service providers who actually include video meeting at no extra cost, for example, Vonage includes Vonage meetings, RingCentral includes RingCentral meetings, Nextiva includes Amazon Chime. These are all video conferencing platforms that are Zoom-like, that all are included with the phone systems that I just mentioned at no extra charge for every user. One of the things that makes Zoom Phone very different in its own right is they don't actually include the, full-featured video package in all of their regular extensions. You actually have to pay more for that or pay for a higher tier, which at the time of this video is called Zoom United, which we're going to get more into that a little later. Oh, I mentioned the pricing, but I actually didn't mention to you guys exactly what what the plans were. The plans approximately are $25 a month for the Pro, $25 per month per user for the Pro plan, $29 per month per user for the Premium plan, and $35 per month per user for the Enterprise plan. And then the call center stuff is something totally different. That's something else. Zoom Phone features include, but are not limited to, mobile app, desktop app, MMS support. I know for those of you who are watching that are thinking, wait, does it support MMS? Yes, it does. Toll-free number included, unlimited auto attendance, voicemail transcription, which is included, which I was actually surprised to see because that's usually an add-on with most providers out there. Not all of them, but most of them that you guys see me talk about on the channel, voicemail transcription is usually an add-on. It's not an included thing. Voicemail to email, which that's always a given with most reputable providers, and even international calling. For some accounts, unlimited international calling for up to 40 countries. That's a very unique feature with Zoom that is quite a money saver depending on the type of company that you are and what type of international business you may be doing. Zoom is a HIPAA compliant voice over IP platform, and it is one of the few and only VoIP service providers that can actually on paper say that it has a HIPAA compliant video conferencing platform. There's a lot of carriers out there that will say that their video conferencing is HIPAA compliant. Some of them out there won't say that because they know that they could potentially get in hot water, but Zoom actually has the ability to have a HIPAA compliant video conferencing platform, which is a rare feature and an excellent feature, especially in an age where telehealth is becoming like a big thing. So one thing that I do want to point out is you do have to pay extra for that feature. That is not a given per se. Let's get into the pros and cons of Zoom before we wrap this video up. Pros. Easily one of the best video conferencing platforms out there. You know, that really needs no more explanation. You know, Zoom has kind of almost defined the standard as far as their video conferencing platform, and other people, you notice, are trying to kind of create a Zoom-like video conferencing platform. So they've kind of created the standard in their own right for the video conferencing or virtual meetings experience. So that's obviously a pro there to have something like that that could be potentially integrated alongside your business phone system. Let's see here. As I already mentioned, truly HIPAA compliant video, which is a rare feature, but you do have to pay extra for that. From what I've heard from people in the telehealth sectors that we've worked with or that I've spoken with that gave me, you know, the good and bad about Zoom Phone for their business. Let's see what else. Number 3, very stable infrastructure and platform. That's a given. This is Zoom. I mean, if they have potentially literally a platform that has the ability to house millions, if not billions, of virtual meetings and whatnot simultaneously, day in, day out, all week long, you know, it's safe to say that their business phone system, it's probably running on the same backbone, so it should be pretty stable and pretty reliable. You know, I've heard people say things about Zoom that weren't necessarily positive, but I've never heard anybody, period, say that the reason that they didn't like it or the reason they switched was because of platform instability or downtime or anything like that. I've never heard anything like that from anybody that did have anything negative to say about the platform. Another pro that I want to throw out there is support for Polycom and Yealink phones, which are widely used. Zoom also supports a phone brand that I'd never heard of called Audio Codes, which I've been seeing more and more of with some of the other providers out there. So stay tuned. We're going to be probably hitting them up at some point to see if we can get our hands on some of those phones for some actual reviews here in the studio. Zoom also has big support for algo and cyber data intercom equipment. For those of you who are watching this and you're wondering what is algo and cyber data, basically what they are is they are interfacing equipment and interfacing equipment for intercom systems new, but they also have the ability for you to connect like intercom ATAs to, in this case, the Zoom Phone platform so that you can actually communicate over, you know, older analog or legacy paging systems, like paging systems that you probably saw like in the ceiling when you went to high school or something like that, or that may be in a warehouse to be able to call somebody or have a loudspeaker to speak over loud machinery or whatever. But Zoom Phone does have the ability and support to support those interfaces, whether you're looking for new intercom systems, and this could be intercom systems outside like door security, or intercom systems inside for just being able to call people over a loudspeaker or page people to a front office or to administration or something like that. Let's see here. Final pro before we move into cons for Zoom Phone is pricing for metered extensions is very competitive at about $8 per extension, where in comparison to most competitors out there that charge about $15 and up for metered extensions, that's actually a really good price for $8 a month for metered extensions. For those of you watching who are like, what's a metered extension? Even though we don't sell a lot of them over here and people don't really look for them much, we do often come across some businesses that are looking for what's called a metered extension, which is an extension that doesn't really have a user or it doesn't really need a lot of use. So instead of paying like a high monthly fee on a seat, you pay a very low monthly fee for either a block of minutes, or you pay a very low monthly fee and then pay a per minute usage charge. Common times that we see metered extensions is like, I've seen them in parking decks. I've seen them in front lobbies. I've seen them in, you go into a, you go into like a bank where you see a safety deposit box and there's a phone inside of the booth where you can, rummage through your safety deposit box. Those are typically metered extensions. So anywho, let's move on to cons. Cons, monthly price is a bit high. Their monthly price typically ranges from about $25 to $30 an extension, and Zoom doesn't really negotiate like a lot of the other providers that we work with do. Why they don't tend to negotiate like some of the others, I don't know. That's their prerogative. But Zoom's pricing tends to be a little bit and sometimes a lot higher than most of their competitors out there. The thing that we've always found that's kind of interesting about that is how high their price is for their VoIP platform, but they're still kind of a new player in the game, and they tend to outprice their competitors that I'm just going to honestly say have significantly, sometimes a lot better features than what Zoom Phone has, but also have more maturity in the market, is probably the best way that I can put it. Let's see here. Con number 2. Very, very basic platform on the UCaaS side. I've talked to a number of persons that either switched from Zoom and shared with me why they were thinking about leaving, or they were just kind of venting a little bit. And one of the most common things that I hear is not that it was a bad platform, but that it was quote unquote very basic and had very basic features and lacked a lot of intermediate to advanced features. Now, I've seen the mobile app and desktop app and the platform myself, and I can kind of agree and see the angle from where people are coming there. But in fairness, I mean, these guys have only been around, even though Zoom has been around for quite a minute, and they've got deep pockets. Zoom Phone hasn't even been around for 2 years. Whereas a lot of their competitors, like your Vonages and your Ring Centrals of the world, these guys have been around for eons, for like anywhere from, 14 to 20 years, and some of them even higher than 20 years, like your dial pads and things like that. So while I can concur with some of the rumors that I've heard that it's extremely basic from people that have felt like it wasn't really for them after having it for a bit, let's give them time because they haven't been around that long. Only about 2 years. They're coming up on their 2-year birthday for Zoom Phone here pretty soon. Let's see. Con number 3, and this is one that, this is an interesting one. Quoting process takes forever. Now, I can't speak for everyone out there that's ever gotten a quote for Zoom Phone, but I have talked to customers that have quite literally contacted me and said, Prince, I chatted with somebody, I emailed them, I called them on the phone, I left a message, and, I've been waiting almost like 1 to 2 weeks for somebody at Zoom to get back with me with a quote and pricing, and I've heard from nobody, and I saw on you guys' website or on your channel that you represent Zoom. Can you get me a quote? Then we turn around and get a quote, and then it takes us, on average, guys, I'm not even going to lie. I mean, even when I'm like super adamant and just all over people's tail, and I'm a huge follow-up Nazi, on average for us, I mean, it takes like a week or 2 to get a Zoom quote. And that's like, I'm usually impressed if we get a quote back to a customer in like a week after the time that we've asked, that we've requested one. Why it takes this long, how in the world it takes this long when most of their competitors out there or VoIP providers that I work with day in, day out will get a quote for you same day or next business day at like the latest. I don't know. I couldn't tell you why, but just expect to have to wait until something changes over there. Okay. Con number 4, and this is a really big one, you guys. Non-existent customer service and support. I can't speak for this myself, but as you guys know, I work with hundreds of people on a regular basis. So I hear all the stories, I hear the good, I hear the bad about all the service providers and even service providers that I've never even heard of. And I get a lot of people that say that they felt like once they signed the contract and got it, they got no help. Like, I don't know if it's because Zoom is big. I don't know if I think some of it has to do with if you're an account of a certain size, meaning a certain dollar figure, you get no support. Now, for you guys that have watched my channel, you know that we're no stranger to dealing with VoIP service providers that some, unless you pay a certain dollar figure before taxes a month, the support is limited. But that's not what I've heard from rumors. What I've heard from more than just a half a dozen people is for smaller accounts under a certain dollar figure or under a certain seat count, they're not able to get anything. They're not able to call anyone. They're not able to get setup assistance. They're just kind of on their own, I guess, with like an FAQ or like a web base or something like a web knowledge base or something like that. So, I don't know. If customer service and being able to have like hand-holding levels of services for you, based on what I've heard and seen in passing with Zoom Phone, it may not be for you. But for some of you out there, you know, you might be tech savvy or you might be able to muddle your way through it. I've talked to some people that said that they didn't care that there was no service. So really, it's up to you. It's your prerogative. Okay, so wrapping this up, my thoughts and final comments before we wrap up our Zoom Phone review for 2021. If you're looking for a VoIP phone system solution that seamlessly integrates with video conferencing, Zoom may be the one. While all of the others out there do have some sort of free integrated video conferencing, let's be real, Zoom has some excellent video conferencing and it's got that familiarity, that brand, that familiarity of the virtual platform that everybody has become used to. So much so that I've worked with people that work with like senior citizens and work in other industries where their clientele is not very technically savvy, and they gravitate more towards Zoom Phone for the integrated video because they know that their clients won't have any issues or obstacles trying to technically figure out how to use what would otherwise be an unfamiliar video conferencing platform or experience or something like that. Cost of Zoom Phone is not cheap. It's when you look at it apples to the other competitors out there, it's just not cheap. It tends to be a little high. So it really boils down to how bad do you want it, and if the price is the big determining factor for you in trying to find a VoIP service provider that meets the needs that you require, Zoom and a lot of other ones that charge more than a lot of the others, it may not be the one that you want to look at. If price is your biggest determining factor, it's probably not going to be the one you want to look at. Let's see here. Probably one of the best plans with competitive pricing for international calling. So again, while for the average customer, the price might be a little bit high, for people that do a lot of international calling, I can almost promise you, you're going to make up for the difference in price compared to the competitors with the amount that you're not going to be spending in a bunch of international rate charges and overages calling overseas and things like that. Other thing is quotes and pre-sales follow-up with Zoom quite literally takes forever. Not only what I've heard from customers, but we can honestly attest to that on more than a half a dozen occasions. So that is something that we hope will improve as time progresses. And that usually, I've seen quotes take as long as 5 to 10 calendar days and sometimes longer to get to a client, which can be really frustrating, especially if it's a client that needs a new solution like yesterday. And last but not least, just to sum things up, is customer service and initial setup and assistance for smaller accounts is very limited. It's very limited, lacking, and in a lot of cases from what I've heard and seen, it's more or less non-existent. So anywho, giving credit to Zoom, Zoom Phone is still very, very new. It's less than 2 years old. We think as time progresses, it will improve. We think hopefully the customer service and response time will improve. And we also think, we know the platform will improve because Zoom has a lot of, marketing funds, and they have a lot of money. Thanks to, like I mentioned earlier, a 326% growth increase over the previous year. I'd say that they've got some pockets when they're ready to basically dump some money into development wisely to improve upon the platform and give it some features and give it some functionality in an interface that we quite frankly think one day it may be able to hang with the big boys who have been around for decades and whatnot. So anyways, if you're watching this video and you're interested in Zoom, remember, we do represent Zoom Phone, but we cannot get involved in or quote or we can't touch any opportunities that are less than 5 extensions. So if you're watching this and you're less than 5 extensions, I hope you found this video helpful, and you're more than welcome to take this video information you learn, run with it, and get a direct quote from Zoom for comparison. If you're watching this and you're interested in a Zoom quote or a demo, or you'd like to just pick my brain and you've got a need for 5 extensions or more, I would absolutely love to chat with you. Our service is free. We don't charge anything. Always be sure to come to us first before you get a quote from the service provider direct so that you can get access to our special pricing. If you found this video helpful, please like the video. Don't forget to hit that notification bell and subscribe to the channel because we upload new videos every single week. Prince Rich with Rich Technology Group, your go-to guy for the best deals on business phone and internet service in the United States. I'll catch you guys again in the next video.